If you're Caitlyn Clark, why aren't you playing in the Unrivaled League yet? I don't know if you've been reading about this, but yesterday, Unrivaled is that 3-on-3 women's league that played in Miami last year. They go to Miami for weeks. They play 3-on-3, and it's an off-season place for WNBA players. Remember Unrivaled, John Skipper, co-founder of Metalark, is involved in Unrivaled. I've told you that. I am not. Coca is not. However, do you remember when we talked about that Unrivaled offered an opportunity to these players to make more money in one stretch than they do in their entire rookie contract? Do you remember when we talked about if there's a player like Paige Beckers, when she comes into the WNBA, she will not have the ability to make money the way she would with Unrivaled, which is how Unrivaled has gotten so popular and so many players to play for it. When you see the money, you want the money, and there are equity pieces involved. Players don't own a part of their league, no matter what Steph Curry wants or says. They don't. But in Unrivaled, the players actually get an equity piece of Unrivaled. And Unrivaled just finished raising money at a $340 million valuation. Think about that. They've had a 10x increase since last year when they raised money at a $34 million valuation. They added a zero over the course of a year. Imagine if they do that again and it becomes 3.4 billion. I'm not even going to give you a wait to see, but Unrivaled is not worth 3.4 billion after next year. They're going to have to stop moving the decimal points. But in this case, they moved it and nobody's blinking. The reason nobody's blinking is they've got a CEO, a guy named Alex, who happens to be married to one of the co-founders, one of the players, as you know, or you may not know, but the president is married and the husband of Link Center and the league co-founder, Collier. So why is that interesting? Because when valuations go up, so does the value of the stock that's held by the stockholders. Except if you are Nafisa and you're talking to your husband about growing Unrivaled and you want to get to a higher valuation because you want your shares to be worth more, it only works if you get a transaction at the higher valuation. You can't just say, hey, I woke up this morning feeling really good about myself. Our value is higher by 10x. The market wouldn't stand for that. But when the market allows for it because your shares have gone up if you're public or people are investing in Unrivaled at a certain agreed upon value, that becomes the new value. What an amazing concept that Unrivaled has turned out to be. And as they decide what they are going to do they expand? Do they become a traveling show where it's not just Miami? Do they build that sort of arena like they built in Miami and other cities? Does it just get filmed from a sound studio, which is really what Miami is? Is that where the money is? Because it's all TV anyway. It's not about the gate. If you get a TV deal, which Unrivaled did, frankly, you want your cost of production and your cost of talent, your cost of goods sold to be as low as possible. Players are highly incentivized to make Unrivaled work because they get equity. And this is where my thought process ends. Because Caitlyn Clark was offered equity last year at a $34 million valuation. Is that offer still standing? Is Unrivaled willing to make Caitlyn Clark like MLS made David Beckham, where you can get an expansion team no matter how long it takes at this very tiny expansion fee, $25 million, while other teams have gotten expansion teams and they've paid way more in expansion fees since the David Beckham $25 million? When Caitlyn Clark was offered equity, was she offered at $34 million? And is that offer still on the table? Because if it is, how is Caitlyn Clark not accepting? Why would she not meet with Unrivaled and say, I want to be a partner. I will take the equity and I'll play for you only if I'm not injured. I'll play for you if I've played for the Fever the entire season and only lost 2 games. You can negotiate a provision that allows you to play or not play at your pleasure if you're Caitlyn Clark. If you're Caitlyn Clark, you've earned the right to make the money without doing the work, going full Kawhi. You've earned that. Why would they not have done that deal yet? because soon Unrivaled is going to say to itself, Caitlyn Clark, we got a $340 million valuation without Caitlyn Clark. We don't need Caitlyn Clark. She's not going to give us a 10x. Or does the WNBA look at the Unrivaled league and said, wow, you guys are getting to be worth so much. We better buy you this second because we don't want these players pretending they're so unhappy with us and so happy with you because you pay so much for a small little 3-week gig in Miami or wherever the traveling circus may go. No, no. If you are Caitlyn Clark's business manager and you have not done the deal with Unrivaled, you've missed the boat. It was automatic imputed profit. If you could buy equity at 34 million and have now an exit strategy where the equity is worth an enterprise value of 340 million, come on. It seems so obvious to me. I don't know why Caitlyn Clark's agent has passed, and I don't care about injuries or that she hasn't played or that she announced she was out for the season. This is almost like an endorsement deal. You do a deal, you get a little shtup of equity, maybe some cash too. When Unrivaled is paying its players the average of 220 grand a year, and you know that that's more than basically an entire rookie contract, you know that you've got a system that's going to scare the existing league. You know you're onto something. And what do you do if you are being found out or exposed? You make it go away. If you're an investor of Unrivaled, your best exit strategy is the WNBA buying you. Whether they disband you or not, you're an equity holder. You are going to get a premium because the WNBA is so highly incentivized to ignore the league, but knowing they can't ignore it, to get rid of the league. And I believe that is what you are going to have to see. Two things. Wait to see when we tell you something's going to happen. If it does, fine. If it doesn't, fine. Caitlyn Clark will not play in Unrivaled this offseason. That's my official wait to see. She's been hurt. She hasn't played. If I'm the CBA, the union for the WNBA, if I am the GM owner of the Indiana Fever, I am not letting my best player prove health in the Unrivaled League, which is our rival. Not allowing it, even though she could certainly use the reps. Caitlyn Clark will not play in Unrivaled. I've got a second wait to see. Caitlyn Clark will do a deal with Unrivaled at this round of valuation. They're not going to wait for another 10x, which may or may never come. Caitlyn Clark's people will negotiate with Unrivaled, and she will get a piece of Unrivaled at a number that is well below the market value, the supposed market value given investments that have come in. Caitlyn Clark will do a deal. That's my second official wait to see.